welcome to the Village Board of Trustees meeting. It is June 18th, 2012. I'd like to welcome everyone who's chosen to attend our meeting this evening and ask if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call on the clerk now to call the roll.
Trustee Scaletta.
Here.
Trustee Sidor.
Here.
Trustee Blackwood. Here. Trustee Breyer.
Here.
Trustee Farwell.
Here.
Trustee Glasgow.
Here.
Trustee Hayes. Trustee Rosenberg.
Here.
President Mulder.
Here. We move to item 4, and for those of you who are with us this evening, if you choose to address the village board under citizens to be heard, we request that you complete a blue card, which are located at the back of the chambers, and bring it up to the clerk so that we know that you have made that request, and when we get to that part of the agenda, we will call upon you. If you're here to make comment on any agenda item, you would please fill out the same blue card, but indicate the subject matter in which you would like to address. With that, there's also some copies of agendas if you wish to follow along at the back of the room as well. We're at item 4, approval of minutes. We have 2 sets before us this evening. First, the minutes of our committee of the whole meeting held May 14th, 2012, and I'd ask if there are any comments, corrections, deletions, or additions.
Pass.
Note the pass for Trustee Glasgow.
Move approval. Second.
Motion by Trustee Scaletta, seconded by Trustee Rosenberg. Any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next are the minutes of our regular Board of Trustees meeting held June 4th, 2012. Again, comments, corrections, deletions, or additions?
Pass.
To approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Trustee Blackwood, a second. Second by Trustee Scaletta. Comments?
Pass.
Pass for Trustee Rosenberg and Trustee Sidor. Any other comments? All those in favor of the motions as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We now move to the accounts payable dated June 15th, and I call on Trustee Farwell.
Thank you, Mayor Mulder. I would move approval of a warrant register with a check date of June 15th, 2012, in the amount of $1,087,865.90.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Farwell, seconded by Trustee Rosenberg. Any questions or comments from trustees? Anyone in the audience? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Farwell.
Yes.
Trustee Rosenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Breyer.
Yes.
Trustee Glasgow.
Yes.
Trustee Scaletta.
Yes.
Trustee Sidor.
Yes.
Trustee Blackwood. Yes. President Mulder.
Yes. We now move to page 2, item 9, old business. We have, did I miss something? Citizens to be heard.
Yeah.
Gee, it was so small
That's why
at the
we're all
bottom.
here.
Okay, that's why we have people here, probably. Donald J. Lopekowitz, please come forward. Please note that we request you to contain your comments to 3 minutes, please. There's a clock up there that will kind of flash at you. Okay. If you could clearly state your name and address, please.
My name is Donald J. Lopekowitz. I live at 905 West St. James Street in Arlington Heights, and I've been a resident of this community for over 46 years.
I'm going to ask you to move that microphone toward you instead of us. There. Thank you.
Sorry, should I repeat myself, or?
And can we reset the clock?
Yes.
Okay, did you get all the information? Okay, you may begin with your comments.
Well, Donald J. Lopekowitz, 905 West St. James Street, Arlington Heights, Illinois, resident of over 46 years. Recently, there was some work being done around my house in basically putting in new sidewalks and a curb and gutter. While they're putting in the new sidewalks, they severed one of my sprinkler system, the piping. And what turned out just to be like maybe a split line, $50 max to fix it, it turned into where they ripped up all the sprinkler system and the heads and stuff, and became a bigger issue than it should have been at the start. And I followed Nancy Julius's, I guess, protocol, you want to call it, by marking the sprinkler heads with red flags on the day they were going to start the deconstruction, I guess, or breaking up of the concrete sidewalks. And I have pictures of the damage and also have the copy of when the sprinkler system was put in 18 years ago. And I have the packets. I don't know, who do I submit them to?
Mr. Dixon would be the appropriate person.
Yes, and if I might, I'll be happy to accept them, sir. Is this your claim? Because I understand you were advised today to submit a claim. Is this it?
No, that's not the claim. I just got that information today when I was downtown.
Okay.
Nobody, during this whole process, nobody said that there was a claim form to fill out. They were just pointing fingers at Lampanada, Arrow Construction, and the whole bit. And then finally today, when Jim called me, he says, no, there's a form you fill out. I go, nobody told me this. And I was sort of relieved of that. So hopefully tomorrow I'll come here, pick up the form, and fill it out. But in the meantime, I took the pictures and the information that I guess hopefully helps my case.
If I might, Mayor, thank you. We will add this to the claim that you're going to submit. Mr. Mazzarelli did talk to this gentleman today. This involves a contractor working for the village, and we'll make every effort to get it resolved to the gentleman's satisfaction.
Thank you, and very sorry
That's
this
okay.
happened.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Comment from question?
Mr. Dixon, is there a way this gentleman can get the form online, or do you know?
Is the form from engineering or from?
On the internet?
No, it's from finance.
Okay,
Finance, first floor.
just trying to save you a trip.
Okay, thank you. That's it then? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody's not online, but that's okay. But it would save a trip. It would save a trip.
Maybe they could scan it and they could email it to him if he has a printer.
I think he said he'd come in, so if there's any back and forth, it can happen a lot quicker and clearer in person, since it might be complicated. And now that we have the forms and some photographs, that'll give the staff a chance to look at it in advance and make copies. So, thank you.
And just to wrap up for tonight, it may be the contractor's responsibility, we'll have to see, as opposed to the village's.
Well, especially if we
we'll
hired
work-
the
we'll-
contractor, did the work.
We will work with him to get a solution.
Good. We also have a request from Adam Bert. Bert?
Bert, yep, like you burnt toast.
Okay, Adam Bert, if you'd please come forward and clearly state your name and address, and then we're not going to have this noise while someone's speaking. That's rude. Adam, your time is starting.
Good evening. My name is Adam Burnt. I am a pastor at Our Savior's Lutheran Church, 1234 North Arlington Heights Road. I'm here tonight speaking on behalf of the Good Neighbors Campaign, a group of Arlington Heights residents, faith organizations, and concerned parties advocating for the approval of the development of permanent supportive housing for people with mental disabilities at Bossier Place. During the summer of 2010, numerous efforts were made on the part of those proposing Bossier Place to reach out to the trustees in order to address their shared concern, a stated concern about zoning variances so that a compromise could be reached and Bossier Place could be built. Since these efforts were met with silence and because no other options appeared to be available, a federal lawsuit was filed in November 2010, accusing the village of violating the Americans with Disabilities Act and Fair Housing Act, both of which require the village to make reasonable housing accommodations for people with disabilities. Tonight, we are voicing our concern over the use of more than $206,000 of taxpayer money the village has already spent fighting a lawsuit with the primary purpose of keeping people with mental disabilities out. And we are asking the Board of Trustees to instruct their legal counsel to settle the suit so that Bossier Place can be built. We have a moral obligation to care for those who, through no fault of their own, are temporarily unable to care for themselves. Some people claim that the question of Bossier Place is about zoning, but this does not seem to be the case. Earlier this month, you voted to approve a 16-unit townhome development on Palatine Road. On a per-bedroom basis, the density of this development will be at least as great, if not greater than the density of Bossier Place. And this development requires a large number of variances, just as Bossier Place does. Are you saying that you can make huge exceptions to the zoning code for people without disabilities, but that if the proposed development is for people with mental illness, reasonable accommodations cannot be made? With decent housing and supportive services, people with mental illness are good neighbors. So I leave you today with this question. Would the taxpayers of Arlington Heights approve of this huge commitment of taxpayer dollars to deny people with mental illness a place to live here in Arlington Heights, the city of good neighbors? We present this money to Mr. Siegel as a symbol of the more than $206,000 taxpayer dollars his law firm has already been paid by the village. And we present this blank check to Mr. Dixon, the village manager, to symbolize the open-ended financial commitment the village is making to Mr. Siegel and his law firm, should the village board decide to continue this suit to trial to keep people with mental disabilities out of Arlington Heights. Thank you for your time. Settle the suit now. Build Bossier Place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barut. Mr. Siegel, did you have any comment?
We have a pending motion for summary judgment. If it's granted, the case is over. If it's not granted, we'll go to trial.
Okay. We thank you for attending and your comments, and there were no other blue cards, so that'll conclude the citizens to be heard portion of our meeting. We'll now go to page 2, item 9, old business, where we have several motions. The report out of the committee of the whole meeting of June 11th. Trustee Breyer, you seem to have made or seconded most of these, so I'll be calling on you for the first motion in regards to the business development agreement.
Well, I'll move this evening, as I did that evening, that the full village board approve the business development agreement with North American Automotive Services for a proposed Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge dealership.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion by Trustee Breyer, seconded by Trustee Farwell. Any other comments or questions? Trustee Glasgow?
Mayor, I'm going to recuse myself from Section A due to a business relationship that I currently have with the attorneys for the parties in question.
Let the record show the recusal and just a very brief statement for the reason for the minutes. Any other comments? We have a motion and a second. Voice vote on this, Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We now move to the proposed groundwater control ordinance. Again, Trustee Breyer?
Well, that one I only seconded.
Well, Trustee Hayes is not in here.
Well, I was a bit of a busy guy that night. I move this evening, as it was moved at the committee of the whole meeting, that the full village board adopt ordinances prohibiting the use of groundwater as a potable water supply by the installation or use of potable water supply wells or by any other method at 1712 West Algonquin Road, 216 South Arlington Heights Road, and 304 South Arlington Heights Road.
Second.
A motion made by Trustee Breyer, seconded by Trustee Scaletta. Any other comments or questions from trustees? Anyone in the audience? All those in favor, voice vote here too. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. And now we move to the third motion from Trustee Breyer.
I'm moving this evening, as I did at the committee of the whole meeting, that the full village board adopt an amended board policy 1979-14 related to committee of the whole to read as follows. The Board of Trustees shall meet as a committee of the whole on the second Monday of each month and prior to the regular village board meeting as needed. In addition, the board may also meet as a committee of the whole at such other times as it determines necessary. Any motion passed by the committee of the whole shall be reported out at a regular meeting of the village board.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Breyer, seconded by Trustee Farwell. Any additional comments from anyone? Anyone in the audience? Clarification of our purpose. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We now move to page 3, where we have a report coming out of this evening's meeting where we had two motions, and I'm going to find them.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
There
I
you
would
are.
move now, as I did earlier this evening, to concur with the mayor's appointment of Samantha Doro to the Youth Commission with the term ending April 30th, 2013.
Second.
Motion by trustee Scaletta, seconded by trustee Glasgow. Any comment, additional comment? Anyone in the audience? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. And next, we have a trustee Farwell has a motion.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm honored to move this evening, as I was earlier this evening, to concur with the mayor's appointment of Adam Johnson to the Youth Commission with the term ending April 30th, 2013.
Second.
Motion by trustee Farwell, seconded by trustee Sidor for this appointment to the Youth Commission for Adam. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously for both of these young citizens who are quite impressive in their interview process prior to this meeting. And I respectfully invite Samantha and Adam to please join us at the podium in the microphone so I may administer the oath of office. If you'd please both raise your right hand. We'll start with ladies first, and if you could clearly say aye and state your name.
I, Samantha Doro.
Adam,
I, Adam Johnson,
now in unison, having been appointed
Having been appointed
to the office of Youth Commission
to the office of Youth Commission
in the village of Arlington Heights,
in the village of Arlington Heights,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge these duties
and that I will faithfully discharge these duties
of this office
according
to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Let me be the first to congratulate you for this appointment to this very important position. And according to the best of my ability, I think the trustees up here were quite impressed by your resume. For someone to have accomplished all that you have done prior to your 8th grade graduation, you are now high schoolers, and you're going to be advising this board on what needs to be done and make certain that we know the needs of the youth of our village. If you could please come forward. Samantha, this is for your signature with the clerk, and Adam, this, don't go away yet. You'll notice, see how I'm without mine.
Here.
Oh, you're out with, the Village Board of Trustees have the honor of wearing the village logo pin that indicates that they are a part of official decision-making of the Village of Arlington Heights. Each and every board member, every plan commissioner, every youth commissioner, we offer and give you a pin as well that you may wear and let everyone know that you're an extension of the elected Board of Trustees and you're helping run the village. And I think we're in much better hands now. There you go, Adam, and may I shake your hand, please? Congratulations and thank you. Thank you. These are the things that are so refreshing to see all of our citizens, regardless of their age, step forward and volunteer to put their lives on hold for at least one night a month to come to a meeting and to work on projects and make certain that they have a voice. You don't have to wait to be 18 or 21 when we try to exercise our rights at the ballot box, but also to begin earlier in making certain that we're aware of youth issues. So again, let's give these two young people who represent all the members of the Youth Commission our thanks for them stepping forward. Now that I've moved all these other papers, I think that concludes our committee of the reports.
Yes.
And I find my agenda somewhere. Here we go. We now move to the consent agenda. For those of you who are following along, the consent agenda are the items that are listed on page 5 and 6, 2 complete pages. They will all be taken a vote on at once unless we remove an item for further discussion. So I'd first ask if any trustee wishes to vote no or pass on any item on the consent agenda. First, Trustee Glasgow, then Trustee Scaletta.
Mayor Mulder, with regard to Section 8, legal A1, 2, I'm going to be voting no. With regard to Section 9 of that same section, I'm going to be recusing myself for the same reasons I previously enunciated.
So Glasgow is a no on item A1 and 2 under legal 8. Trustee,
And recusal as to 9,
as to which 9?
that says to the Napleton.
A9.
Okay, the resolution Napleton for the professional conflict.
That's correct.
And Trustee Scaletta?
Mayor, I'll also be voting no on A1 and 2, as I previously voted no.
Like certain the record indicates those differentiating votes. Are there any other comments from trustees? Trustee Farwell?
Mayor, I will be recusing myself with the legal A8, as I have in the past due to professional issues.
Okay, a recusal of Trustee Farwell. And Trustee Sidor?
Thank you, Mayor Mulder. I will also be recusing myself from legal A8 due to other legal issues with Village Green LLC and Mr. Anderson.
I think you have done that previously as well. Thank you, trustees, for stating those very clearly. Any other comments? With that, I would now ask if anyone wishes to remove any item from the consent agenda for discussion. Seeing none, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to remove an item for further discussion or for the purpose of making a comment in reference to anything on page 5 or 6?
Move approval.
Seeing none, a motion
Second.
for approval by Trustee Scaletta, seconded by Trustee Glasgow. Roll call.
Trustee Scaletta?
Yes.
Trustee Glasgow?
Yes.
Trustee Sidor?
Yes.
Trustee Blackwood?
Yes.
Trustee Breyer?
Yes.
Trustee Farwell?
Yes.
Trustee Rosenberg?
Yes.
President Mulder?
Yes. We're moving right along to page 7. New business. Item 12. Mr. Dixon, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Mayor. This first item is a special use for Caribou Coffee. It actually involves 3 different special use actions. Repeal of the existing special use ordinance, a special use to allow a restaurant, and a special use to allow a drive-through. This is at the now but soon to be no more site of La Titi at the southeast corner of Dundee and Kennecott.
We've received all the information from the Plan Commission. This does come to us with a recommendation for approval. I'd ask the petitioner if they'd please come forward. And if you could, for the record, identify yourself. And I know it's going to be shocking, but I'm going to give you more than 3 minutes.
Okay, great. I hope I have more than 3 minutes.
Yes.
My name is Louis Schreiber, Shorewood Development Group, an address of 2150 East Lake Cook Ave, Suite 320, Buffalo Grove, Illinois. And I am in front of you with a redevelopment proposal of 1015 West Dundee Avenue. It consists of a 1.04 acre site. We're proposing a new 1-story structure that is 5,690 square feet and is divided into 3 tenant spaces. The parking lot will also be reconfigured to include a drive-through for the easternmost tenant and provide 61 parking stalls. We are proposing The restaurants that would occupy tenant space A, which is Qdoba Mexican Grill, and tenant space C, Caribou Coffee. And in the middle, tenant space B will be a barber shop known as Supercuts for B. We've worked hand in hand with both design and plan, and with the appreciation of knowing that this is the entryway into Arlington Heights, so we've spent quite a bit of time showing the landscaping, really overdoing the landscaping for this, as well as the design element of the building, which is in a rendering page.
It's now on the screen, so.
Yeah, 3. There you go. And we request approval of 3 special uses. 4 special uses. 3 of them will be at Caribou, 1 for it being a restaurant, the second a drive-through, and then the third to repeal the existing special use that is there. And I ask if you guys want us to present both of them, or are we coming back up for Qdoba after Caribou?
They are separate.
They're
Okay.
separate.
Okay, so for this part, we are asking for approval of the 3 special uses for Caribou. 1 being the restaurant, 2 drive-through, 3 is repealing the special use.
Questions from trustees? Trustee Scaletta?
So you were in attendance at those Plan Commission and Design
I
Commission
was.
meetings? Okay,
I was.
and did you see the 6 recommendations that are detailed out?
Yes.
And you agree with all 6 of those?
We do.
Okay. I've read the Plan Commission minutes and I've reviewed the plans, and I would move approval.
I would second.
Motion by trustee Scaletta, seconded by trustee Glasgow. Any additional comments? Trustee Rosenberg.
Charles, can you talk about a little bit about the Caribou Coffee on Rand Road and how that has worked with the drive-through, if there's been any issues at all?
Yes, Trustee Rosenberg, we did talk about that with Engineering Department and Police Department. They have no known issues with that particular development since it's been open late last year. That particular development, Caribou, has 60 seats, and this one is proposed 54. The one on Rand Road has parking of 44 spaces for the 3 tenants. This one has 61, so this has actually more parking. Admittedly, the one on Rand Road has the adjacent shopping center that separate ownership. They can still share parking, so that helps in that situation. But there's no known issues with the parking or the drive-through at that location. My personal observations at lunchtime, on the east side and the north, the parking is used, but you can usually find spaces on the west and the south to park. And they do have different peak hours with Caribou more in the morning, and in this particular case, Qdoba in the lunchtime and evening.
Because I know there's going to be, I think it was mentioned, maybe approximately 17 employees or somewhere around there for the 3 uses.
We have an average of 6 employees for Caribou, 5 for Supercuts, and we are, bear with me 1 second. Qdoba,
It was 5 or 6. For the-
average employees for Qdoba? At one time? 8. So 8, 6, 14 plus 5, 19 average employees on the site total.
So Charles, with those 19 employees needing space away from the, I think you said 61? Is that so you don't feel that that's an issue?
No,
Something we should be, or at least making note of to keep in mind or something?
Yeah, our parking code does take into account employees in the calculation, and they meet our code requirement. We also took a look at the traffic and parking study that was presented by the petitioner, and the ITE standards are lower than what they are providing, but they also looked at existing locations and provide actual counts of existing locations. So we're comfortable. There might be some peak times when it's it's getting close to fully occupied. That would be a good thing. But we think the site should have plenty of parking.
And then I know currently that, I think there's an arrangement that Mario Tricocci's uses La TT space in the morning, I think. It is, I think, to park their cars. They must have had some kind of arrangement or something, because I always see cars there when the restaurant isn't even open.
I know there are some steps between the two properties, so it looks like that's been in place for quite a while. I'm not aware of a formal agreement, so it might have been some kind of informal agreement. Mario Tricocci, looking at their site, they have about 70 spaces on their property, and that is well in excess of the code requirement for that particular building. So I don't know what their unique situation is. If they have certain, parking needs, they could perhaps work out something with the bowling alley to the south, or even Chuck E. Cheese to the east, which, typically during the weekday they're pretty open. I did notice when we've been out there, there are, some parking on this particular site. It looks like they're going to Mario Tricocci, probably more of a convenience because it's closer to the entrance than if they parked on the south side of the building. They'd have to walk a little bit further. So I think that would be something the businesses would have to work out between themselves.
Mr. Shriver, you haven't been approached at all by Mario Tricocci?
We have not. And if I may add, I believe the current restaurant, they have employees coming in as early as 6:30 a.m. So again, I can't speak for if they were Mario Tricocci or the current restaurant, but they had considerable prep time. And again, a note of my observation, and no, we have not been approached by Mario Tricocci.
Okay. That's all the questions I had. Thank you.
Any other questions from trustees? I would just note that directly to the west are a number of office buildings that the village staff and actually occupied, that perhaps some of those people would just walk across the street to go over and grab lunch, and not bother to start their car, maybe in inclement weather, but not on a beautiful day.
Soon to be a car dealer. So.
I have to let you know, I didn't get my packet until I got home this weekend, and I was at a conference where Caribou Coffee was, and someone came up and they were all thrilled because the one on Rand must be doing gangbusters. They were extremely excited about getting another one on the north side of Arlington Heights. So corporate is very happy with you.
Yeah,
So,
I've got a good team behind me that's not up here that really has done a lot of the work.
And I kept saying, oh, yeah, isn't that great? And I was going, which one is it? I'm thinking. So when I got home, I found out. So
Great.
Knew it was at the Plan Commission, but I was pleased to see it here tonight. Anyone in the audience have any comments or questions or concerns living in the neighborhood?
Help is with Shore Development Group as well. I failed to note that what I believe is a typo to allow in here in this motion, special use to allow a 1,263 square foot restaurant. In reality, it is 1,781 square feet. And that's consistent with our submittal through design and plan as well.
Give us that number again, 1,000?
1,781 square feet.
Mr. Perkins, do you have any comments on that?
We'll verify those square footages with the petitioner before the ordinance comes back at the
2
next
weeks or-
meeting.
Okay, the next meeting, okay. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Paying attention to details, that's
Yes.
good. Trustee Scaletta?
How large is the space overall then?
The space is 5,690 square feet.
No, just the Caribou space.
The Caribou overall is 1,780 square
Okay, I
feet.
think that, and here we're just talking about the interior seating area, not necessarily the square footage of the space.
Well, while I
It does say
tend
that-
to agree with you, but on the first one here, that's where we calculate, and the interior seating is 1,098 square feet. If you look on page 7, 1.
Yeah, we have 1,098 as the interior seating. We'll have to
Yes.
verify and correct the square footage for the overall restaurant when the ordinance comes back.
Yeah, I think all the numbers should be
Consistent.
compared and very consistent.
Absolutely.
That something could come down the road and be very complex later. Ms. Ward, did you have some comment?
I was just going to help Trustee Scaletta. If you go back a page, the motion itself, and I think this is what the gentleman was talking about, is a motion to recommend a special use to allow, and the number there is 1,263 square feet. And that's the number he's saying is 1,780.
Correct.
Okay,
So that,
thank you.
but we'll make sure they're all right when we put the ordinances on next time.
Everyone does a different chart, so sometimes the numbers get changed.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out. Any other comments or questions? Trustee Rosenberg?
So it seems like we're going to have coffee wars on the north end between the new donut place, Starbucks that's going in on the other side, Caribou, Dunkin' Donuts,
Yes.
Panera across the street. So good luck.
North Arlington will be very awake.
Very awake, yes.
Very alert
Very
drivers.
caffeinated.
I personally am pleased to see development and people purchasing property, redeveloping it, and opening businesses. I think that's a good sign for the economy. People do like to pick up a cup of coffee on the way to work. And I know that Caribou has its religious, they only drink Caribou, as does Starbucks, so I don't think they're going to hurt each other at all, because people just don't switch, they get to one. So we welcome you, and we welcome, I think, the signal of really exciting things happening on Dundee. And,
Oh, great, thank you.
And with the 53 and the potential of years to come, might be accessible by even more people.
Thank you. We're very excited as well.
Trustee Blackwood.
Just a question from a marketing perspective. When you take a look at developments like this, usually they're all restaurants, and you've been innovative enough to suggest a haircuttery. So tell me a little bit about the thinking there.
Well, I think...
Especially with Mario Turcosi next door. Two different types of haircutteries, of
Yeah.
course, but...
Well, my 2 cents worth would be that, you know, we are driven, a lot of our developments right now are driven by quick casual, quick service, such as Caribou, the Qdobas, Chipotle's, you can go on. And we want to be very respectful to parking ratios and stuff. And Supercuts is a very low volume, as far as traffic, and they complement, it's a good complement that exists well in between two spots. I think we had the ability to create more square footage here, but then again, we are taking away from the performance of the restaurants themselves by cramming too much into a site. So it tends to be a very complementary use to what we're doing. And it's kind of universal through our 4 or 5 developments that we have just recently completed or starting this year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? We have a motion and a second. Again, anyone else in the audience that wishes to make a comment or ask a question? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Scaletta?
Yes.
Trustee Glasgow?
Yes.
Trustee Sidor?
Yes.
Trustee Blackwood?
Yes.
Trustee Breyer?
Yes.
Trustee Farwell?
Yes.
Trustee Rosenberg?
Yes.
President Mulder?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good luck, and we'll probably see somebody back in the next meeting.
You're going to see me in the next one.
Oh, the next one.
right?
Okay, we got 2 more buildings, or
Yep.
no? I don't know, but is anybody here from the haircut?
No.
they don't
Just the 2 restaurants?
We do have representatives of Qdoba, should anyone want to ask direct questions there.
Good.
Samples?
Would you like me to sit?
Samples,
menu.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Okay, Qdoba is the next item. So the petitioner, you are going to represent?
Yes.
So,
Louis Schreiber, Shorewood Development Group, address of 2150 East Lake Cook Avenue, Suite 320, Buffalo Grove, Illinois. And again, we're here to ask for approval for our development at 1015 West Dundee Avenue. As we are aware, it's a 1.04 acre site. We're proposing a new 1-story structure that is 5,690 square feet and is divided into 3 restaurants. The parking lot would be also reconfigured to include a drive-through for the easternmost tenant. We are proposing restaurants that would occupy tenant space A, which would be this motion. Tenant space C, Caribou Coffee, and the Beauty Barber Shop Supercuts to occupy tenant space B. And for this motion, we're asking for approval of the special use for the restaurant, Qdoba Restaurant, which is 25,332 square feet.
25,000?
25,000.
See, I just
Add
crammed
an
it all
extra
in there.
one. Okay,
2,532 square feet.
That one's the same one in our agenda. That's a good number. And that, the hours on that restaurant?
I have it listed at 10:30 to 10 p.m., 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. They anticipate, in here we have, they anticipate 7 employees during the largest work shift. And the hours of operation, 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m.
With both indoor and outdoor eating?
Correct. And food deliveries are anticipated twice a week, usually in the morning before store opens, while trash collection times are not known yet.
Mr. Perkins, comments?
Mayor, trustees, we think this is a good reuse of the site. It adds to the Dundee Road corridor with the proposed car dealership that the board just approved the agreement on immediately to the west. Both Ford and Sullivan have renovated their facades, and Roman is building the Lexus dealership out. So I think this is another positive element for the Dundee Road corridor, and staff supported this request, as did Plan Commission and Design Commission.
Mr. Dixon, did you have any comments? I apologize for not starting with you.
Thank you. I think this is rather straightforward, and I don't have any comments.
Thank you. Trustee Glasgow?
Mayor Mulder, after reviewing the Plan Commission, visiting the site, I'd move approval. I think this is a good idea.
Motion by Trustee Glasgow, seconded by Trustee Breyer, to concur with the plan recommendation. And again, you agree with all the conditions that were put forth with the Plan Commission.
Agreed.
Trustee Rosenberg.
Can you just quickly explain the concept of Qdoba, what it is versus like one of the other restaurant?
Ron, would you like to come up and speak direct?
I don't think we have any of these in our community yet.
Okay, so I'm going to hand this over to Ron Stokes.
Hi, I'm Ron Stokes. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the company. And we have 35 restaurants, 34 in Wisconsin. We're the largest franchisee. This is a national brand from California to New York, 700 stores or close to 700 stores. And similar to Chipotle, I think they're better known down here. We have a store in Vernon Hills that's doing very well. And so big burritos, quesadillas, tacos, taco salads, some catering, some kind of a Mexican grill, much like Chipotle, but probably a broader menu.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Is it affiliated with Chipotle?
No, not at all.
Totally different. It's
Totally,
just this similar concept,
Similar.
style.
Similar. Mm-hmm.
But better, right?
Of course. I move to approve.
You have to go get elected first. Any other questions? Trustee Rosenberg? No. Anyone else?
Thank you.
I think you're just making everyone hungry. Sounded pretty good.
I could vouch for him. I've eaten the one on Wells Street and up in Milwaukee, the Marquette campus.
Very good.
Great restaurant.
So this would be your first Illinois?
No, we have one in Vernon Hills.
Vernon Hills.
Yeah.
Is he going to get both of those signs?
We beat them with the Marianos, and they beat us with, okay. No other questions? And we have a motion and a second. Anyone in the audience? No one in the neighborhood? That's a good thing. Okay. Roll call.
Trustee Glasgow?
Yes.
Trustee Breyer?
Yes.
Trustee Blackwood?
Yes.
Trustee Farwell?
Yes.
Trustee Rosenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Scaletta?
Yes.
Trustee Sidor?
Yes.
President Mulder?
Yes. Motion carries. I don't want you to think this is an easy board. No. Just you have a good project.
Okay.
And
Well, thank you. We appreciate everyone's effort.
thank you.
Would you like these?
Sure.
Just copies to me.
Sure. Yeah, we're good.
It's okay.
It's fine.
There's some more right there. We now move to Page 10, if you're following along with us, Mariano's land use variance. Mr. Dixon?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This, as indicated, is a land use variation to allow a private automobile parking lot, a variation to waive a traffic study, and a variation to waive the installation of 3 curbed islands with 4-inch caliper shade trees at opposite ends of the middle row of parking and underneath the light pole.
Do we have a representative from Mariano's? If you please come forward and identify yourself. It's like Wisconsin night tonight.
Yeah, I guess so. My name is Max Dickman. I manage real estate development for Mariano's at 875 East Wisconsin Avenue in Milwaukee. I don't have a whole lot to say. It's fairly straightforward. The lot that's there today is currently being used for parking, but it's being used for automobile storage in relation to an automobile sale business. So in order for us to use it for automobile parking for our employees, there needed to be a variance based on it not being inventory for sale. So based on that, we needed to get a variance to the zoning, which is what we had approved at the Plan Commission, and that's why we're before you here today. So right now, the lot, which is a great problem to have, is not able to park all of our employees and our customers at the same time. We're currently parked just north of Kensington in a bank-owned property. Eventually, they've told us that they are going to either redevelop it or do some stormwater retention there. And we're not only on a month-to-month, we're basically on a day-to-day lease. So we're taking this precaution to have a long-term parking solution that runs contiguous to our lease for the store. And that's what we're planning to do. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. One note, too. In the Plan Commission, we had proposed to waive the 3 islands. At this point in time, based on the Plan Commission, we are reinserting the islands at the end of each parking row, and what we'll be waiving is just the island in the middle parking row. Gives us a couple extra stalls, and we were only off by a couple. I think if you have more than 20 in a row, you needed a middle island, and we've got like 22. So they decided they could waive that if we agreed to put them on the ends, which we're more than happy to do.
So you're going to make it look a lot nicer than it looks.
I believe it will. It's going to be paved. We're going to have water detention on site. So, yeah, it should be a plus. We're going to add to the landscaping that currently exists, fill in any gaps that are already there. So,
it's a lease arrangement with the owner?
It is a lease arrangement with Al Ladoff, who's the owner of the property.
Trustee Scaletta, questions?
Charles, you're aware of the change in the request?
Yes, Trustee Scaletta. The original request, staff had suggested the waiver of the islands because this was kind of a temporary basis, and we are in the middle of a study of this area for a longer-term redevelopment plan, and we didn't want to see too much money invested and then a potential redevelopment down the road. Plan Commission felt adding the 2 islands, made sense for circulation, was not a huge cost, and recommended waiving the one in the middle, which is acceptable to the petitioner.
Okay, great. Well, I just want to commend Mariano's for not waiting until they have problems. They've come to this village from the very beginning, putting their best foot forward, and they could easily just wait until they have a problem and then try and solve it, but they're trying to get ahead of the problem, which I can completely appreciate. So I will be supportive of the motion.
I would second the motion.
I'll move approval first. Sorry.
Motion by Trustee Scaletta for approval, seconded by Trustee Glasgow.
In any other words.
Other questions or comments? Trustee Rosenberg?
Charles, as far as the lighting goes, are we satisfied with the sufficiency of the lighting to the extent of protecting the employees as they walk there or late at night?
Trustee Rosenberg, the final permit plans would be reviewed by engineering to make sure it met the photometrics. On a preliminary basis, we're comfortable with what's proposed.
And that's a concern of ours too, so we'll certainly work with staff to make sure it's not too bright, and I believe we're 0 at the lot line, so when we do get off the lot, we're not going to be spilling out into, even though it is neighboring business today, you don't know what's going to be there tomorrow, and we're taking that into consideration.
My concern so much wasn't the spilling of the lighting, it was more the protection of the employees as far as that goes.
Yeah, agreed, and that's
lighting.
a concern of ours too. So we do feel that there's enough light there, and if the village wants us to adjust that, we'll certainly work with them.
Okay. I don't know if there was a need for, it mentions in the police summary something about if there was any kind of pedestrian gate or or will there be any kind of gating at all around that?
Well, currently, there's a cyclone fence that's there today. We could either take that up or leave it down. So far, we've shown it up in our plans, but it does have barbed wire on the top. We think that's a little bit of overkill, so we plan on taking down the barbed wire and leaving the cyclone fence. We think that adds security, but also still allows vision through to the parking lot, which I think the police department wanted. And you can see we have landscaping, but I don't think it's so thick that someone couldn't see in, but it will certainly look a lot nicer than it does today. Though I think the village has done some plantings there, and we're certainly going to be consistent with that.
I mean, you have no intention of putting any kind of, like, security devices or anything there to?
Well, I think the only thing we're thinking that we may end up doing, in so far, we're just not sure, is is maybe an access gate, just if we need to control it because people are parking there that shouldn't be parking there. But other than that, we'll sort of play that by ear and see if that's a problem we need to deal with.
Okay, thank you.
The entrance is off of Douglas?
Yeah, the entrance is off of Douglas, though we will have, where there's a crosswalk today, is where there's current access. And just during Frontier Days, for about a week, a year, we'll probably have to access off of Kensington. But that will be temporary. It'll be closed down 51 weeks of the year. And access will be off of Kensington. Or, excuse me, Douglas, I'm sorry.
So you are aware of the train on the track?
We are, yes, and technically the track is not on our property, so, you know, we're just on the other side of the tracks, and we're where it's employee parking, so we're comfortable with that.
When does the lease begin?
The lease begins 15 days after we give notice to our landlord, so we have a lease in place that's current, and once
Will it be after 4th of July?
Yes, our anticipation is to start construction, assuming approval at this board, and then the next time you meet, I think July 10th, which is the day after Frontier Days, if I'm not mistaken. Or the day after the cleanup of Frontier Days, I should say.
Because I think they were hoping for some access to get to the track, the touch-a-train thing.
Yeah, I think there was something there, and Al Adolph asked us if we'd give permission for that, and our answer was yes, because we're not going to need that property until the 10th anyways.
We are a train town, have you probably noticed?
Sure, yes.
Other comments or questions? So anticipated completion of?
I would say it's probably not longer than a 6-week project once we start, and we're looking to start middle of July.
By the end of the summer, before nothing's going to happen. It's not in front of us, so.
Yep, right, that's our hope.
Okay. Any other comments? We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Trustee Scaletta?
Yes.
Trustee Glasgow?
Yes.
Trustee Breyer?
Yes.
Trustee Farwell?
Yes.
Trustee Rosenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Sidor?
Yes.
Trustee Blackwood?
Yes.
President Mulder?
Yes, and again, I want to echo the comments that you've heard before. We are very proud to be the first community in the state of Illinois and first to ever have a Mariano's. It's been hugely popular, very successful, and we appreciate the professionalism that not only how the store is run, but your concern over the availability of parking and having it adequate, and as the trustees have pointed out, anticipating a problem before it occurs.
Yeah, well, we've had a great working relationship with the staff and the council and the Planning Commission of Arlington Heights. It's worked real well, and no, we're proud to have it be our first store as well, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, as we move along, we have reached page 11, and our next item is Arlington Downs that have more proposals, so we welcome you to the podium. You made it just in time. You didn't think we'd be this fast. Or you were in the hall.
Others doubted you.
Mr. Dixon, you have any opening comments, or Charles?
Yes, this is, again, very straightforward. It's a final plat of subdivision and a final plan unit development. The board has worked with the developer on this project over a number of months, and we have these two items tonight. If they are approved, we also have the ordinances tonight. But first comes these two items, and that will determine whether the ordinances are able to be acted upon this evening. This has been through the Planning Commission, enjoys their support, is ready for board consideration.
We have a real collection of binders, I can tell you that, so thank you. Why don't you introduce this? This is final plat of subdivision as well as the final planned unit development.
that we are here tonight, hopefully to end, to get the, really the end of the beginning and get the final approvals on the plat and the ordinance. And we've worked very closely with staff and all of the commissions that have reviewed this, and we're very appreciative of being here finally, and this really will help us get started in earnest. I think as many of the trustees are aware, we're in the process of demolishing the non-contributing buildings. We are now starting to work even closer with the building department and on getting ready for permit submittals of actual drawings and plans for the resuscitation of this site. We're very pleased here in the audience, Gary Thalheimer, the president of the Tishman Construction Company, our construction manager and a longtime resident of Arlington Heights, is here with us tonight. And we look forward to moving on to the next phase, which is actually getting real positive building done.
Well, certainly have the weather, and this is the time of year to, I know, do the demolition and so forth and moving of earth, tearing up things. So it's lightning speed sometimes compared to other developments, but it's probably the sooner the better. So I'm glad you made comment that there was a lot happening.
There is a lot happening now, and this step will lead to the final steps to financing the project in total, and so we're very pleased to be here tonight.
Questions? Comments? Trustee Glasgow?
I would move approval.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Glasgow, seconded by Trustee Farwell, to move approval. Trustee Rosenberg.
Carl, maybe you can answer it, but as far as the issue that was raised about the determination by Rolling Meadows for the
bike path?
No, I think it was the turn lane.
The right turn lane.
Correct. Is that something that you're going to determine, subsequently, as far as, or wait for Rolling Meadows to make a determination, or?
We're committed to doing this in phase 2 of the project, but our traffic consultant, Mr. Carcran, is here tonight. If we have any questions for him. Our traffic studies show phase 4, and all we've asked is the flexibility to continue working with staff and the city of Rolling Meadows to determine really when the best time for that is. A number of things that we've committed to, including an extension of the bike path, all kind of come together at that spot. And so there is a lot of coordination, and from an economic standpoint, we really don't think it's needed till phase 4 of the project, when the retail really starts to show up. But all we're asking for the flexibility is to work with both staffs, and the development staff here has been very, very good about facilitating our relationship with Rolling Meadows, and we just need more time to work it out. So that's really the only question we had. And the Plan Commission did vote on it to allow us some flexibility to work with the staff, but it really is up to the city of Rolling Meadows and the village to come to the right conclusion. And we'll do whichever, at the end of the day, we'll make this work.
So the current traffic plans, they've factored in the racing season as far as in the
Yes.
traffic at those times when, there's incoming and outgoing traffic from the racing?
Yes, we studied that extensively, and so we really are even in very good shape either way.
Great, thank you.
Other questions, Trustee Scaletta?
Not looking for any specifics, but do you have any leases that are signed?
No, on the retail, not yet, but we've found that we all of a sudden have a lot more traction and we're getting a lot more interest, and then that's good.
New tenants?
New tenants.
Okay. That's it.
Other comments, or mine only was that I'm pleased to see that you've already begun engaging with Rolling Meadows. I know that we work jointly with them on property redoing a road that we've gotten grants for, and I know there was comment here about the possibility of seeking a CMAP grant. And those are very competitive, so the sooner you get the petition in, the better. But Rolling Meadows is a real good neighbor, and I'm glad to see that the communication that's already taken place, and hopefully that'll continue, and we all stand to gain.
We've been meeting with Rolling Meadows through the development staff since December, and it's just a matter of some more time and some more discussion, but we've been very pleased today.
Good. Anything from you, Charles?
No, Mayor, it's a great project, so it'll be exciting to get it going.
Turn that dirt. See things happen. We have a motion, a second. Anyone in the audience have anything to add? Adam, you sure? Okay. He's okay. Just wants to know when the water park's going to open. No. Do you have any idea?
The water park, we know that it has to undergo some modification, and we are coming back with Zone B as we finish some more detailed planning there. But it's the hardest permit in the state to get is from the Illinois Department of Public Health. So, and it has to be upgraded since it's 2006 licensing period. So there's going to be some work there.
Okay. By then we'll have the hotel.
We will.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. I think roll call's in order.
Trustee Glasgow?
Yes.
Trustee Farwell?
Yes.
Trustee Rosenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Scaletta?
Yes.
Trustee Sidor?
Yes.
Trustee Blackwood?
Yes.
Trustee Breyer?
Yes.
President Mulder?
Yes.
Thank you all.
It's getting too easy now, but maybe that's because you are paying attention to detail, and we thank you. We thank you for the initiative, and I'm glad to see you smiling so big about how it's moving, and with markets and economy, get it while you can.
Absolutely. And we thank the board for working so well with us, and the staff has to be highly commended. It's been a very, very good project to work on and a very good village to work in.
Good.
With all your materials, I'm just very glad I got it electronically as opposed to all this. I have no doubt. I just don't want to lug it around.
Thanks.
Here, my agenda here again. We then move to legal, item 13. Mr. Dixon?
These are the ordinances that follow the action the board just took. And I think the discussion here about how well this has moved, both from the board standpoint and the developer standpoint, is a good example of when you get good initial submittals from a developer, things go much quicker. So credit to the developer, certainly in that regard. So the first is the ordinance approving a final PUD.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by trustee Scaletta, seconded by trustee Farwell. Any comments? Anyone in the audience? Roll call.
Trustee Scaletta?
Yes.
Trustee Farwell?
Yes.
Trustee Glasgow?
Yes.
Trustee Rosenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Sidor?
Yes.
Trustee Blackwood?
Yes.
Trustee Breyer?
Yes.
President Mulder?
Yes. And now we have moved to item 11, a resolution approving a final plat of subdivision.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by trustee Farwell, seconded by trustee Blackwood. Any comments? Got to give this side of the table some
I have no
chance.
problem.
Okay. Anyone in the audience? Staff? Roll call.
Trustee Farwell?
Yes.
Trustee Blackwood?
Yes.
Trustee Glasgow?
Yes.
Trustee Rosenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Scaletta?
Yes.
Trustee Sidor?
Yes.
Trustee Breyer?
Yes.
President Mulder?
Yes. Motion's carry. And I have a whole folder of documents to sign, so we'll get out on those this evening. We move to appointments which have been concluded. Any other petitions or communications from staff? I have one, and it's sort of a short notice, but it's Arlington Heights, Let Your Voice Be Heard. I think we heard some voices earlier in the meeting this evening on a different subject, but this is tomorrow night in this room, 7 to 9. being conducted in conjunction with the Metro Mayor's Caucus Metropolitan Planning Council, which is known as MPC, as well as CMAP, in discussion of housing. If you're interested in coming, it's one of those interactive sessions. What does the future of housing look like in Arlington Heights, and what are the short and long-term housing opportunities and needs for the community? It's an opportunity for residents to voice their opinion. Take this opportunity to weigh in and create strategies and a vision for housing in Arlington Heights. Everyone's welcome. We appreciate letting us know that you're coming so we can accommodate everyone, and it will take place in this room. If you have any questions or comments, please contact Nora Boyer. She can be reached here at Village Hall. Her extension is 847-368-5214. You can always, whoever answers the phone, ask for Nora Boyer in the Planning Department. Any other announcements? Motion for adjournment? Mr. Siegel? Nothing? Mr. Dixon?
Nothing.
Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Glasgow, seconded by Trustee Rosenberg. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Get home early. Thank you, gentlemen, very, very much.
Not bad for a 743-page packet. Out by 9:07.